Alright, everybody, welcome back to Dead Space 3. So, we're on the final chapter, chapter 19, endings, and let's do it.
I see the machine! We have to get it before the moon does! Copy that! I'll meet you there!
It wants us to get there. Why are there crates? Fuck it. Are we going to the green guy? No. Fuck off. Wasn't supposed to go that way. I mean, there's nothing new. Yeah. Blood Moon.
can use this TK charging plate and throw them as weapons.
Where's the other eye?
Watch out! It's growing giant chunks of rocket! I see it! I see it! It's pulling you in! Keep the tentacles off before it eats you! Son of a bitch! Watch out! It's doing it again! Tentacles! Shoot the tentacles! I see it! Carver! Carver! Just hang on! I'm gonna have to pull you through!
Isaac? Isaac? Are you there? Kava? Isaac? You're gone, aren't you? The mark signal has gone too. Isaac, you did it. You really did it.
Earth space coordinates confirmed. Shock drive enabled. Standing by.
Two for 60G. I don't know what that means. That's cool, they have the writing and then they have the name, so. Pretty good music at the end. Overall, I actually really enjoyed Dead Space 3. It does have a few problems, whereas Dead Space 1 and 2 didn't have these problems. Well, Dead Space 2 had sort of that towards the end. Dead Space 2, the last 3 chapters, you're mostly just running to the entire thing because you have Regenerator chasing you pretty much the entire time, and then you just have an onslaught of enemies coming at you. You're just kind of running that whole time. But that would probably be the only thing I could say that Dead Space 2 had where I would change, or for what I would change about Dead Space 2. Otherwise, number 2 I thought was actually creepier up until that point. The addition of weapon crafting, weapon upgrades, and more than, like, Dead Space 1 and 2 had very simple weapon upgrades. You know, increase damage, fire rate, reload speed, and clip size. That was about it. Now Dead Space 2 did have it where your plasma cutter, you could have at the very end of the upgrade tree, you could catch enemies on fire. So that could possibly be where they got the whole upgrading weapons thing from. They're like, okay, let's put this one little thing at the end of number 2, and then if we make a third, we're gonna go all out with it. I thought it was really cool. Something you can play around with because you definitely got enough resources. I don't know where you were supposed to get all those other blueprints for the weapons, because there were at least 8 to 10 weapons we didn't unlock, and I was very, very thorough. Yeah, I probably missed some stuff, a good chunk of codex maybe, maybe some blueprints, but there's no way I missed 8 to 10 of them with how thorough I was. So I'm not sure about that. Now, the 7 extra missions I thought was a really cool thing to do. It added a lot to the story. Unfortunately, 5 of those 7, the only reason they were more than 15 minutes long was because they stuck you in a room at least once or twice on 5 out of the 7 of those, and just bombarded you with like 30 enemies. Sometimes I would say 40 if it was the little like kid looking things. And so that kind of really dampened the side missions for me, because I knew after the 3rd one, I knew that was going to be a thing coming up. So I was like, not as much to look forward to other than the extra story beat, because I didn't care about all the extra components and stuff you got at the end. But I did think that was a really cool addition to it. Made the game bigger, made the game a little longer, which I enjoy. Now the addition of microtransactions and the fact that it's a lot more action and not hardly any horror. I know it has to 100% do with EA. That's pretty much confirmed. Now, they did always add in, suits and stuff you could buy, later on. That's fine. A skin pack for $5 or $10. It's whatever. I don't care. It doesn't do anything. It might give you more armor or whatever, like number 2 did. I think even the first game. But again, adding that, I don't care. Now, if you make it so you have to buy each individual suit for $5 or $10, that's a problem. A pack of them for $5 or $10, it's whatever. But they added microtransactions for all the resources, which makes no sense because you get a ton of them. You get a ton of resources, and you can sell off some of your stuff for other resources. So you have plenty. You have plenty of resources. So that made no sense. The addition of co-op, from what I hear, from a story perspective, you want to play the game alone first and then do it co-op, because you have somebody else, you're talking to somebody else, they're talking to you, so you miss story chunks and stuff like that. And it just makes more sense because Carver's off doing something else while you're doing your thing. And when it's co-op, he's with you. Is what I'm guessing. And so it doesn't really make sense because all of a sudden, in a cutscene, you walk into a room and he's already there. And he's been there with Ellie. So I was like, huh? I thought it was kind of shitty to lock a co-op mission. No, we're still watching the credits. A co-op mission behind that, because it's like if you don't have anybody to play with, you miss a whole mission, which sucks. But whatever. I did think the story was good. I think so. I don't. If this is the final Dead Space, if they're not making another one, and by the time the remake of the first game comes out, it'll be on basically 10 years since this Dead Space, because this was 2013. It'll be 2023 when the remake comes out. After 10 years, I'm guessing they probably aren't going to make another one. So if this is the final one, then I thought the story to it was fine. They went really big with the story, and shit went crazy at the end. Which, if this is the final one, I'm fine with that. If it wasn't the final one, I feel like such a huge thing at the end would be kind of a misstep, because how are you going to top it, Now, you don't always need to top it, but, that's how they think about it. That's always how they think, how can we go bigger? You don't need to. But there would always be the thing of you can always go and try to find more markers and destroy them. That can be like a whole sub thing of the game if they decided to make more. That could be a thing that could be done. But I thought Isaac's whole thing at the end, you know, it's like, you know, I'm not coming home and stuff like. I thought that actually, you know, that kind of hit you because you've been with Isaac for 3 games. You do care. He's gone through so much, and at that moment you're like, shit. If he doesn't make it, you know, that's gonna hit me. So, and it does for me at least. And then it definitely did, you know, the first one had its creepy moments. The second one I felt, like I said, went way creepier. With certain aspects, the nurseries and the whole church thing, I thought, you know, those 2 things made it way creepier. Jump scares, I can give or take, whatever, have a few, that's fine. This one, the only point that was there was no creep in it at all. The only scares they had were jump scares. And so I find this one wouldn't even be considered a horror game for me. It would be just an action adventure or whatever. Because there was no horror. And that has to do with, you know, it's not that they gave you weapons that were fully automatic and stuff like that. It has to do with just they kept bombarding you with enemy after enemy after. It was just like, you know, if you weren't killing the human enemies, you were killing a horde of necromorphs. And you know what makes like the first one and the second one, again the second one until the last few chapters, is that you never had that many enemies at one time. Not one point in the first or the second game, like I said, until the last 3 chapters of the second one, did you have a single moment in those 2 games where you had that many enemies, where you had to kill them. Now there were that many enemies and you had to run away from them. But in this one, you pretty much had to kill them at every point, because you were waiting for doors or things wouldn't open without you killing them. Now the first one had it to where you had to, you know, when it's sanitized, you had to kill them for it to be sanitized. But it was never that many. You know, it was less than 10. And this one was just insane. But overall, I did actually really enjoy it. Again, cut down the enemies, add more of the survival horror aspect of it, and this could live up there.
Ellie? Ellie?
And there we go. Again, I had never played this game. I honestly didn't know any spoilers other than you're on the planet and Isaac lives. Now, how is he going to live? I have no idea, because she's left. But overall, I did think it was a great game. Unfortunately, it lives in the shadow of 2 fantastic survival horror games, and this one just comes up as a straight-up action. So that kind of brings it down, unfortunately. So normal difficulty complete. New Game Plus have been unlocked in the front end. Dead Space Legends suit set now available in the suit kiosk. +3 ALD circuit set available in the bench. Casual difficulty complete. New Game Plus, Legend suit, yes. So that is going to end the main campaign for Dead Space 3. When we come back, we will be doing Dead Space 3 Awakened. So I hope you guys enjoyed the main playthrough for Dead Space 3. It was really fun. Again, there was just a few too many moments of just bombarding you with enemies. Other than that, it was honestly a fantastic game. A lot of people say it sucks, it's the worst, and it is the worst of the 3. But if you can overlook the fact that it's not a survival horror and it's an action game, and it has a few flaws with hordes of enemies, it's good. So, have a great day, guys, and I'll see you. Bye.